What's up, friends? Today we'll be checking out the latest song by Eve. It's called Underdog. We're looking at it from the perspective of a producer, songwriter, artist. Let's get into it. Eve has some cool songs. They have that cool JJK opening. So, interested in this little piece of music. Dark Souls vibes right there. There's so many cool sounds going on right there. There's a guitar. There's just kind of a kick. There's also some interesting vocal effects. I really like the vocal effects. There's it's like a weird sample used. And it has some like interesting chorus on it. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's cool. That little opening is a vibe.
皮肉なざまで三千さ君の目にするものは本当か人の願いに当てられ伝染した代打であることにはもう満体いつだってバイト虚構でなっていた最初は無垢に透き通っていた今じゃ満たされるものが何なのかもう現世じゃ無理と諦めたらっていたたたた
So there's kind of two parts of this opening verse part. The first part just has the bass drum and then the vocal. They took out the weird sampled vocal that they had at the very beginning of the song. And then there's the second part where they have that synth come in. I think the singer for Eve has kind of a bit more of a nasally voice, a bit more of a higher timbre to his voice. And so I don't know if I love the way his voice sounds as much when it's just like the bass drum vocal, but once those other parts come in to fill it in, because his voice is just a little bit thinner and they haven't produced it in such a way that it gets any more wideness, I feel like once those other instruments come in, then it's like, okay, this is how this voice is supposed to sound. It sounds good, like it sounds better when it's not just bass drum vocal. And you know, you might think, oh, obviously all vocals are going to sound better when there's more instrumentation, but that's not always the case. And I do like when they add that little synth, and it has kind of a nice little video gamey feel, which I feel fits with the opening part of this music video. Love the falsettos. Also, I think that pre sets up that chorus so well. I really like that pre. I think I like the way that he goes into that falsetto really briefly, and then that falsetto becomes kind of a major part of that chorus. A good pre-chorus is so essential. I recently put out a song that is very important to me called I Die, and I paid a lot of attention to that pre-chorus because I feel like a good pre-chorus sets up the chorus to be big, bold, and explosive. And I feel like this pre-chorus does a really good job of setting up that chorus in a nice way. So there's that thing I was talking about at the very beginning where I said his vocal doesn't have any effects or any production on it to make it sound wider, and so it just sounded a little thin with just the bass. Here, when there's just the bass, drum, and vocal, we do have some more effects on his vocal. I really like the effects they're putting. It's a little bit of distortion, and they also have an octaver, which is creating this kind of other vocal of his that's an octave deeper. And those pair together really, really nicely to create this fun effect that widens his vocal pretty substantially and takes away from the kind of thinner, it just thickens it up, makes it a little less nasally in a nice way. And that just sells that second verse for me so much. I also love when a second verse is a lot more rhythmically involved. Did the same thing on I Die, where that second verse is a lot more rhythmic, it's a lot more involved, and I think that just enhances and sends the second verse in a really interesting direction. It's not necessarily more hype than the chorus, but it is more rhythmically interesting. Dope pre-chorus. Love this pre-chorus. Ooh. That was one of the coolest ways I've ever heard someone build up anticipation for a chorus. Oh my goodness, that is so much fun. I love all the weird technical effects going on there, a lot of choppiness that just sounds excellent. I also love when just like everything cuts off and then there's just this phone ring and then the guitar comes in and then it builds back in and now we're back at a chorus, which is just crazy. I'm excited.
What?
Oh, the bass riff at the end is so groovy. I think there's some of the most interesting bass playing is happening in Japan right now and in Japanese rock music. That song's stellar. I love all of the different electronic effects that they use throughout. It is so cool. I love how they build up to that chorus, and then after the chorus, they have this kind of outro thing that brings back a lot of those electronic effects that built up to that chorus initially. Yeah, just a ball. Just a fun time of a song. That was great. That's actually probably my favorite Eve song I've heard. I really like that one. I've enjoyed Eve, but nothing's caught my attention to such an extent that I'm like, ooh, this is it. This is their song. And this one I'm like, ooh, oh, this is hot stuff. Cool. Hope you enjoyed my thoughts on Underdog by Eve. If you have, I highly recommend checking out my music. Got a new song called I Die. It's a banger. Hope you enjoy it. You can listen to it right here. Thanks so much. Catch you on the flip.